Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my kitchen. My name is Charlene for anyone that's new, and today we actually have a lot of projects to get to, and I'm hoping that I can get to all of them. Right now I'm just cutting up some pepperettes for one of the things that I am going to be making today. And so let me just share with you everything that my plan is to make today. We are going to make some gluten-free pizza muffins, which I have never made before. We're going to make regular pizza muffins. So for anyone that has not seen my channel before, I have one son that has celiac disease. So for him I cook gluten-free, but for everybody else I cook just regular meals most of the time. Actually today I'm doing another gluten-free for everybody, but still. That's how I tend to do most items in our house. We're going to make a potato ham bake. We're actually going to make two of those. We're going to make one for dinner tonight, and we're going to make one to put in the freezer. And I'm going to make some homemade tater tots. And this one is going to be gluten-free version, because sometimes they'll put like flour or whatever on the outside. We're not going to do that today because it actually technically is for a later project. I am out of protein balls, so if we have time we'll get to that, and that's about it for now anyways. So I'm going to finish cutting up these pepperettes, and then we will get started. We were camping just a few days ago, and I took this cheese with us, and it kind of fell to below the ice level, so it fell in the water a little bit in the cooler, so it's a little softer than usual. So I thought today would be a great day to use these up since I'm doing some baking that needs cheese. So definitely not something I'd want to eat just a slice of. So here I am just cutting up some onions for all of the things I'm making today. And I'm keeping the peels in a bag in the freezer for when I make broth. And I'm also, I find if I want to keep the tears down when cutting onions, I always cut them in half and rinse them under cold water first. These onions were so awful. I was like crying while I was cutting these up. It was the worst ones I've ever done. So you'll see coming up I change to using my little chopper to save on my eyes, but yeah, these ones were really, really bad. Okay, so we are going to get started with our cheesy ham and potato casserole. I've technically just finished making the gluten-free pizza muffins. Well, they're just finishing up in the oven actually. But I'm going to put that at the end of the video just because I know not everybody wants to see that one. So if you are interested in that, look for it near the end of the video. So this one I have made before, and this recipe is really good. We really enjoy this. So I'm going to make a couple of these, hopefully. So yesterday, in preparation for today, I actually had, what did I do? I probably cooked about 15 to 20 pounds of mashed potatoes, and I have 2 bags this size. Well, This was bigger, but my son came out just before I was videoing and took a big plate of it. So that was his breakfast, believe it or not. So with this recipe, you can actually use whatever kind of potato you want. I've done, like when I home canned my potatoes, I've used those. And you can use tater tots, and I actually really like it with mashed potatoes. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. So I'm actually going to double this recipe, but I have a feeling I might need to make even a little bit more, but we will start with doubling it, and I will put the single serving recipes in the description. Okay. So I'm hoping to fill those. Okay, so I don't know how many pounds this is. It calls for 2-pound bags. I had this sitting out on the counter for a little bit, so it's still a little chilly. So I'm just going to break up the lumps. Okay. All right, so we have 1 cup of melted butter here. Of course, this is the double recipe. We are going to need sour cream. Quite think there's enough for double sour cream, so I might have to use some of my Greek yogurt that I have made. Yeah, there's definitely not, but that's okay. Okay, sorry, had to take a minute break, throw my hair up. The heat in here is absolutely crazy. So this is my homemade Greek yogurt. I have a video on this if you've never seen that done. There's many different ways to do it. Anyways, so I have probably a cup of the Greek yogurt that I'm going to be using as well. Is about right. Okay, I'm just going to put this back in the fridge before I finish it. Oh my. There we go. Okay, so we got that, and it calls for 1 can of, so you can use chicken soup. I'm going to use mushroom soup. That's one that we really like, and I'm using Aylmer's gluten, oh, for a second I thought I poured the wrong one in, gluten-free cream of mushroom soup. My son absolutely loves this recipe. Okay, I'm just going to open one more because I am doubling this. Okay. Perfect. this a light stir before we add more. Now there are still a little bit of lumps in my mashed potatoes because I did such a big pot that I missed a few. But that's perfectly fine because you can do these with any potatoes. There, that's a nice, seems like to be enough moisture in there. Okay, so we got the soup, the sour cream, the butter. Oh, it calls for grated cheese. So I'm going to use the rest of the cheese that I cut up, and then I'll grab some more of the grated cheese. This one's a little bit clumpy, so I'm just going to break it apart. So it calls for 2 cups of grated cheese for one recipe. So I'll probably put in, I don't know that I put in 4 full, I'll just go with what looks right. I'll just leave it with whatever this is until everything else is added and go from there. And then we are going to put, it calls for 1 small onion, so I have lots of onions that I cut up this morning. I should have grabbed a bigger bowl. Okay, and then next we have to add the ham. Got it all over my hands here. So I'm just using canned ham. So I'm just going to rinse off. It has like a gel around there, so I'm just going to rinse it under water. That aside for a minute. So I will just cut this into whatever size chunks you would like in it. You can use any ham you want. If you have leftover ham, this is a great recipe. So I'm just kind of doing be different sizes, I guess. I guess that size would be okay. So this is just one of the canned hams. I don't know if I should put more in or not. Let's see how that works. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay, I got the first 9 by 13 filled. Now I'm filling the second one. So, whoops, the amount I made is good for 2 9 by 13s, but I think I want to fill this this 8 by 8 square pan as well. So I think after I will make a little bit more, because I have one more bag of mashed potatoes in the fridge. So I'll do that after I make the tater tots though, just to make sure I have lots for that. Okay, so I think this one here I will put in the freezer just for a quick already made dinner. So what I'm gonna do, and then this one here is gonna be for supper tonight, so I'll just stick that on the stove. I'll get some tin foil for this. And I'm sure this will get eaten within the next month, so. A mess there. I should have done that the other way around, but it is done now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write on here, oops, when I find my marker, there it is. I'm just going to write ham and potato, and that you bake, what is it, 375 for 35 to 40 minutes. Okay, there's one freezer meal prepped and ready for today. Okay, all cleaned up from that, and now we're going to move on to the regular pizza muffins. So we're going to start with all the dry ingredients. This one actually calls for all-purpose flour and whole wheat flour. I just checked my whole wheat flour and I haven't used it in so long and it smelled questionable, so I'm just going to use 2 cups of all-purpose flour instead then. Okay, there's some sugar. Oops, woo. Okay, baking powder. Salt. Baking soda. Basil. It's almost time for a refill on this. Okay. That is, you know what I'm going to put in this that's not on the recipe? It's a little bit of garlic powder. I have that in our actual pizza dough, and it's really good. So I'm going to put roughly a teaspoon in there. And I hope I remember to write that in the description for you. Okay, so that is all of the dry ingredients. And I am preheating the oven to 400 degrees for this one. Okay, we'll put that aside. Then we have 2 eggs, which I have already put in this bowl. Okay, then we have milk. We've got plain Greek yogurt, so again I'm going to use my, oh, hold on, there's a spider. There you go. Just a little guy. There we go. This is coming down right above my bowl, but he was like right here. Okay, yeah, so this is my homemade Greek yogurt. And how much was that? 1 cup. Just give this a little stir. Quickly put this back. Okay, 1/4 cup of melted butter. Just in case that spills over on the plate. Okay, then you can put whatever you want in this one. It calls for peppers. Me and my husband would eat that, but one of my kids don't like it, so I will omit that, but put that in if you love it. we're gonna actually use onions because I did cut up quite a bit, and that called for half a cup. And this one only called for, okay, so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this. Oh, these were some chunks that didn't get cut really thin. I'll leave those ones to the side. Okay, roughly half a cup. Oh, the butter should be done. Good thing I put it on a plate, went everywhere. So then it says at this point we add it to the dry stuff. Oops. Now the recipe says that if you don't like a thick batter like this is pretty thick, you can just add some milk in it. So since I don't know yet what we like and what we don't, we will just go with what we have. There's still lots of flour to mix in, so okay, so now is when we add in the cheese, and I had cut up some pepperettes, but use whatever pepperoni stuff you like. And it calls for half a cup, but while I did the other one, I found it needed more like a cup. So I'm going to put all of that in and the cheese. There's a little bit of clumps in here, but that should be okay. Oh, there was spaghetti sauce. Hold on. I think I forgot that. Oh, you add that when they're in the muffin tins. Okay. So I think I'm going to try using the silicone in the muffin tins. Whoops. Just to see if that makes them easy to come out. Okay, so that is well mixed, and I will go grab the silicone. Okay, so I put the silicone muffin tin things in here, and I already filled one tin, but there's still plenty left, so I got out another set. So this is definitely a really thick batter. So I'm thinking maybe next time I'll thin it just a little bit more. But we'll see how it turns out. It might be perfect the way it is. And I don't know if I mentioned, but I have the oven on at 400 right now, preheating. Good enough. Okay, so now there is what is supposed to be pizza sauce. And I only have homemade pizza sauce, but mine is actually a little thin. So I'm going to use spaghetti sauce. I'm not sure how much to put on the top, but just put a little bit. And then we are going to bake these for about 12 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to take these two out and I'm going to just put a little bit of water in here. Just so it doesn't like, probably don't even need to, but I always do. I just put just the tiniest bit in. Okay, so in the oven these guys go. Okay, we are moving on to tater tots. So with this recipe, there was something else I could have done last night when I mashed the potatoes and stuff, but I knew I was doing 2 different recipes, so I didn't really bother. But the recipe says you can add a little bit of broth and butter to it, mix it all together, and then put it in the fridge like that. I didn't do that, so it's just going to be kind of plain potatoes for this. So I'm just going to take half of this second bag. So I don't really know how, that should still make it fair, but this, I wanted to make that other, more of that ham potato bake for that other 8x8. So I think that should be enough for that. This should be enough for this. So I'm just going to break this up a little. Again, there is a little bit of chunks in here, but the recipe actually says to leave a few chunks is actually good for texture for these tater tots. And this is the first time I'm making this recipe, and I've never made tater tots before, but hey, there's a first time for everything, and whoops, I'll let you know if this is a good recipe. So I know we do 2 eggs in here, which I'm going to add to a separate bowl. Just to mix it well first. Got a shell in here. There we go. And I'll just mix the eggs beforehand and then just add that in. Then before I move on, I have checked the pizza. Oh, I just dropped that in there. That was good. It smells really good. Oh no. Not even close. I added an extra 5 minutes. Okay, so we are going to add salt. Okay, actually, my other measuring thing is in the dirty dishes. Just a little bit of pepper. Garlic powder. Ooh, I almost spilled that. And then, so got all of that, didn't use that. Eggs. And now it calls for a half a cup of gluten-free all-purpose flour. And I think my just going to mix these. Always do that. Okay, so these are the pizza ones. They smell really good. Yep, that's good. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Okay, this recipe calls for you using a tablespoon and making them into a log shape. Actually, that's going to be way too big. I'm just thinking what I'm using these for. I think I was going to do some what was it? Some burritos, and I found this recipe that that called for putting tater tots in it, and so I was thinking of my son with celiac because he likes that kind of stuff. So anyways, what it says to do is to roll it in gluten-free breadcrumbs after this. I am out and I'm not going shopping until tomorrow, so I'm going to use cornmeal. Now this recipe calls for when you're done making these to fry them in oil and then serve them, but I'm not actually going to cook them to serve. I'm going to freeze them. So I'm going to, oh, I didn't stick that together very good. So I'm just going to dip them in the cornmeal. I'll figure out a way to make this quicker than one by one, but okay, that is so not a very pretty look, but it does the job. I just wonder if that is going to hold together. Okay, I guess we'll find out. All right, so I'm going to do this and see how many I get. making the gluten-free pizza muffins. Now, like I said earlier, I have never made this before, so I'm hoping that this turns out good, because it just sounds like something that would be really great to just freeze and put into the freezer for whenever, you know, just something quick to grab, right? So it's going to be dry ingredients, wet ingredients mix. So we are going to do brown rice flour and tapioca flour. And I will put the recipe in the description. Okay, so this is tapioca flour, or starch flour. Doesn't matter which you use, I guess. I know if he does like this, I will, in the future, make large batches and put it into the freezer. Okay, and this is the brown rice flour. And then xanthan gum. And then baking powder. Sugar, and I also have the oven preset at 375. Okay, now we're going to do oregano, basil, and thyme. So, oregano. Where did I put, oh, basil I didn't bring it. And then calls for garlic powder and onion powder. I actually chopped up an onion to put in there, so I'm going to omit that one, but I will put garlic powder. How much was it? Okay, just half a teaspoon. So I'm going to put real onions in. Actually, it was the worst onion that I've had to cut. My eyes are still, I did it a half an hour ago and my eyes are still feeling like I was crying. Okay, just mix that well. Then we'll move on to the wet ingredients. So let's see down here. We have, okay, we did that. Oh, I forgot the salt. So we have 1 cup of milk, 2 eggs, half a cup of olive oil. Go there. Okay, so this particular recipe called for diced tomatoes. I know for a fact my son does not like diced tomatoes. He doesn't like chunks of tomatoes in anything. So I'm just going to substitute that for spaghetti sauce. And hope that doesn't affect the texture. Okay, so dump this into this. Still flour at the bottom. Okay. Gonna add the onions. So it's supposed to be half a cup of the pepperoni and the half a cup of, it called for bell peppers, but instead of that I'll put the onions. Oh, you know what else I wanted to put? I'm going to put a little bit of crushed pepper, red pepper flakes in here, just a few. They seem to love the heat, so. So these turned out really good. My son really enjoyed it. He loved all the pepperettes. Really liked the spice that I put in it. He was actually very surprised at how good these tasted. Now the recipe called for half a cup of pepperoni of some sort. I did not find that that was enough, so I ended up adding pretty much another half a cup in with that, and then I thought it was just about right. And the flavor on this one was actually really good. Okay. So you spray muffin tins. I said to fill them 2/3 full. Oh, you know what I forgot is the cheese. Oh, well, that's silly. Yeah, and it says it right there too. I'm blind. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I will just put a couple of these on top. I would have preferred to have melted them in with it, but that is okay. And it's supposed to be grated cheese, but we work with what we got. Okay, so now we're going to put it in the 375-degree oven for 25 minutes. Okay, we are all done. What a great day. Look at everything that I got done today. So it ended up that I cooked one 9x13 already, so this one here is all ready to go whenever people start getting home and wanting to eat. They just have to probably throw it in the microwave if they want. I ended up making after, I made another 9x13 of the potato ham, as well as an 8x8. So I didn't expect that many of them. So that's fabulous. So these two 9x13s are going to be for freezer meals. I think there was about 23, 24 pizza muffins regular. Those were fabulous. These are the tater tots that we got. So this is the last little bit from the other half of the bowl that I had started. So that's a good start. So we'll see how those taste once I go to use it. So feel free to subscribe so you can see future videos. And then these are the gluten-free pizza muffins. Now these do not look as wonderful because these ones I put them in the normal muffin tins and I was digging around, so they don't. Plus I made that mistake of forgetting to put the cheese in the mixture, so I just sat them on top. So that's both of those two. I think I will probably try these again. Actually, I might just try a piece just to see. Okay, this one looks the worst, so we'll just see. And then I'll let you know after if my son likes these. Yeah, they're not bad at all. The outside's a little crunchy, like I said, if I tweak the mistakes I made. Good. I am so happy with what I accomplished today. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you on the next video. Take care.